There was a lot of stuff that happened in 2020. There was life-changing and world-changing events that took place. I think all of us can agree that the biggest life-changing and world-changing event that took place in 2020 was the release and unveiling of the Ford Bronco and the Ford Bronco Sport. Since then, the Ford Bronco and Bronco Sport have come to be one of the most popular SUVs in the entire United States. That is right. They are selling incredibly well. They are very popular, and the Bronco Sport has been much more popular than I think a lot of us were anticipating. Here at Apple Autos, we have been selling a lot of Bronco Sports, and we have tons of customers that have been thrilled with their purchase and truly enjoyed driving them on a day-to-day basis. It has been 3 years, almost to the day, that the Bronco Sport was released. Let's do a recap on it and see if it's still relevant going into 2024. Before we get too far into the video, I need to mention this vehicle is currently for sale at Apple Ford, Apple Valley, and we also have a lot of Bronco Sports available at Apple Ford Shakopee here in the state of Minnesota. We are pretty close to MSP, so if you guys are interested in a Bronco Sport, be sure to check out the link down in the description below. You can fly in, we'll pick you up, we could deliver. We have tons and tons of inventory on Bronco and Bronco Sport, but the one in today's video is one of our available units, so be sure to check out that link down in the description below. Let's get into the video. Now, for those of you that do not know, the Ford Bronco Sport is a unibody. The Ford Bronco is a body on frame like a big truck, but the Bronco Sport is a unibody design like an SUV. However, it is still very, very off-road capable. The model that we are looking at today is the Badlands. That is the most decked out Bronco model that you can get with every option on it. And this Badlands is extremely capable and can do a lot more than the majority of people could probably think that it could. With a lot of off-road goodies and some amazing tech with its GOAT modes, go over any terrain, or greatest of all time. Pretty clever that Ford did that. It's a really smart idea. Not to mention it also uses the word GOAT. You know, Bronco, GOAT, stuff like that. It's kind of cool. Now, when the Bronco Sport was unveiled, it wasn't really looked as heavily upon as the main Bronco, of course. However, we've actually been selling more of these than we have full-size Broncos. I think that's a lot to do with their price point, gas mileage, and just day-to-day basis, in the sense where it's not nearly as big, it's a lot easier to maneuver, and it's more like an SUV, which the majority of the population likes. Now, being priced somewhat close to a Ford Escape and being similar in size to a Ford Escape, it makes these really appealing because, in my opinion, I think they're quite a bit cooler than the Ford Escape. They have a lot, they brought back that really cool boxy design, which I really like. It has some very rugged looking body lines. It has a lot more off-road capability. I think the interior is laid out really well. The Escape does have some newer tech with the newer 2023 or 2024 Escape coming out with its larger screens and updated sync system. However, this Bronco Sport is an amazing vehicle for the price point that it is at. It is super roomy, it has tons of off-road capability, and it's got a really great look to it with a very large aftermarket supporting it. Just for an example on some of the aftermarket you can do on the Bronco Sport, check out this one our aftermarket Cryptic Customs team just built that's lifted on some rotiform wheels. It's got a really cool like bash bumper up front with some lights in it, as well as this awesome roof rack with a few tires on top. This thing is really cool, and there's all sorts of aftermarket options that you can do on the Bronco Sport. This is just one example that I recently had my eyes on, so it made me think of it while I was making this video. Now, hopping into the Bronco Sport, this one is fitted with leather, and it is a really nice place to be in here. It is super comfortable, very roomy, lots and lots of ways to move the seat around and the steering wheel around to make yourself comfortable with plenty of headroom. Even with the sunroof in this Badlands model, there is a lot of room on the interior of these, which makes it a very easy vehicle to drive for the majority of population, no matter what your size is. Not only that, but this leather wrap steering wheel feels very good in the hands. The paddle shifters add a bit of sportiness to it. And talking about those paddle shifters, that is connected to, of course, the 2-liter all-wheel drive system that this Bronco Sport has. And it is really, really peppy. It is super, super quick with this motor. You can also get the Bronco Sport with a 3-cylinder, which is quite a bit more fuel efficient. However, this 2-liter is a lot of fun to drive on a day-to-day basis. And it honestly has way more get up and go than it needs. I also really like all of the really cool like bronze accents on the inside of this particular Bronco Sport. It does look really cool, as well as that brown leather interior. Really adds a unique look to it. I'm gonna go ahead and hop in back here. I was very comfortable sitting up front, and sitting in back here, the seat kind of pushes itself in. So my legs, where I was comfortable up front, I do have my knees in the back of the seat here, but I could move forward a couple of inches and be just fine. Headroom wise and back, I have tons. If you guys notice, they do this cool hump on the outside of the Bronco right here, right where my hand is rubbing. There's this extra hump, which is still like a rigid, like cool looking body line, but that adds a pretty substantial amount of headroom for the back seat. And not only that, but it adds more height in the trunk, so you can fit some taller things back there as well, and it just kind of looks cool. To give it a similar feeling of the large Bronco, you can press this button here and the glass just opens right on up, so you have accessibility to put things in through the back window here, which also makes it pretty practical because there are not many vehicles in this segment that do this. So you can still fold those seats down and fit wood out of the back, tie them down, strap them down and back. So it's really cool that you have the availability to do that. And of course, we still do have that defrosting rear back window with that, which is pretty dang slick. We got a rear wiper right there. Press this button and that is how we open up the actual trunk itself. We do not have a power lift gate on the Bronco Sport. So when it comes to height to reach up to grab in, I'm 5'11" and I can reach it totally fine. I think somebody who's 5'3" could reach this pretty easily, but below that, it might be a bit high, but pretty easy to open up. We have these really cool lights sitting back here that you can press this to adjust where the light's actually facing. So say you're loading stuff in, you're doing something on the ground, you can move these lights around to light the premises that you are working in, which makes it pretty dang slick. We also have a couple of cool little Bronco logos in here. This one's lit up, which is really unique. And then if we pull up this guy here, we got ourselves a full-size spare tire, which is really, really slick, that is in the back of the Bronco here. So it still is off-road capable, having a full-size spare in this thing with all the room that it already has. We can also fold down these rear seats by just the push of a button here, and that gives us lots of rear storage. We also have a few little straps in areas like that where we could actually like lock something down in the back of this thing. So like I said, you could throw wood out of your back window, throw a ratchet strap back here, ratchet strap it down, and there's a few other convenient hooks and things like that. And then you got your button to control those lights right here on the side. So really, really cool way that they integrated and designed everything back here. And then also just like their trucks, which is pretty unique, we have ourselves a bottle opener here, which is kind of cool. So you can crack a bottle open right there. Kind of unique. Some other things I want to point out that I forgot to point out when I was sitting back here is on the back of the seat, we have this little zipper where we can put whatever we want in the back of the seat here, which is super roomy, super convenient, and it is pretty slick. Then we have this like molly strap system where you could like throw a carabiner on here and hang some stuff in the back of your seat on both the driver and passenger side. And then we also have a USB Type-C, and an outlet on the back here, as well as vents for our rear climate control. Not only that, but the front and back seats, it's not just leather all the way around. We actually have leather on like the bottom half of the seat, and the top half of the seat is like an Alcantara split with this, also this brown color, and it looks really high end, I'm not gonna lie. It looks really cool. And then we also have two cup holders with a fold down armrest in the middle of the rear seat back here. Let's go ahead and hop up front. I want to show you some of the tech in this thing. We'll do another wrap around on the outside and then we'll wrap it up. Back up front, I want to go ahead and point out some of the stuff that I really like in the Bronco Sport. One of them being the all rubber floor liner. So you can take a power washer and just spray this thing out, but it still comes with carpeted floor mats too. So it feels kind of high end when you get like a carpeted floor, but still super easy to clean with that rubber floor liner. So that's really convenient and really slick that they have on the Bronco Sport. So it is ready for all year round. Not only that, but we have like a soft touch dashboard. So it isn't just hard plastic and it feels pretty good. And the overall layout with those bronze accents, like I brought up earlier, is really, really slick. I do like this large storage area that we have under the screen controls. I think that was a good hit on Ford. Very nice spot to just throw your phone or something, or you could even throw your phone under that, because on this model, we have a wireless charging pad sitting right down there. Actually, since this is a decked out model, we have the premium package, the Badlands, we have adaptive cruise control, we have rear parking sensors, 360-degree camera, blind spot monitoring, all of the bells and whistles when it comes to safety and tech. This Bronco Sport is packed with heated seats, heated steering wheel, and then we got that rear locking diff. You could lock four-wheel drive on, and then we have all types of different drive modes, auto hold. So this Bronco is decked out to the max with everything you could possibly want. And something else I really like about it is the B&O sound system. It sounds really, really good. I think it is well worth it if you're shopping for a Bronco Sport, but that's not to dismiss the lower trims as well, because those can be a really good bang for your buck when you're comparing them to some of the competitors like the Jeep. I personally really like these over like the Jeep Compass, for example. These have a lot better tech in them. They feel a lot more updated, and I overall think that they ride better, and I prefer the sync system over Uconnect as well. The Bronco Sport in 2023, is it still relevant? Is it a good car? Was it ever a good car? And I think we can say yes to every single one of those things. The Bronco Sport has been a huge, huge hit. It is loved by fans all across the world. It is an amazing vehicle for the price point that it is at. I also have to mention, I do really like these headlights with like the halo and the line through them. The Bronco logos on the side. We got the exposed tow hooks on this model. It is such an amazing vehicle for the price point that it is at. It is loaded with tech. It is an amazing ride. It's a heck of a lot of fun to drive, actually. You might think it's just a small SUV. Why is it so fun to drive? This 2-liter just changes the entire personality of this thing. Like, it rides like a little off-road truck. I'm like a really tiny off-road truck. It really does. And it's pretty dang cool. It's a lot of fun behind the wheel, even just on normal roads, not even taking it off-road. It's a great daily driver. And I think Ford knocked it out of the park with this thing. I think we're still going to continue to sell lots of them. And if you guys are interested in purchasing one, be sure to check out that link down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Apple Autos YouTube channel. Please take the time to like, subscribe, help us grow this channel so we can continue to put out awesome videos like this to help you with your vehicle purchase needs. Have a great rest of your day.